Welcome to the RedCap training module for the CHEETAH trial. In this module, we will look at how to use the RedCap database to register patients and enter CRF data for the CHEETAH trial. To access the CHEETAH database, you will need to log in at the following URL, which is bctu-redcap.beham.ac.uk. To access the CHEETAH database, you will need the username provided to you by the BCTU CHEETAH trial team during the setup of your site. If you do not have your username to hand or are having any problems with accessing the CHEETAH database, please contact the CHEETAH trial team who will be able to resolve any issues you might be having. CHEETAH patients are registered on RedCap at the phase of the patient pathway highlighted in red here. So after the patient's eligibility has been determined and after the baseline and intraoperative CRF has been completed and has a trial number sticker attached to it. All trial numbers for your site have been pre-populated on the RedCap database, and we would ask that you try to complete the baseline and intraoperative form on RedCap as early as possible after the patient has been recruited. This means that the BCTU team are aware that the patient has been registered, and it will also help with scheduling the follow-up appointments in the RedCap calendar. Once you've entered the URL, log in using your username and password. You can click My Projects in the top menu if you are not being directed to this page automatically. As you can see, there are two projects for CHEETAH. The main CHEETAH project where you register patients and add CRF data, and also a screening CHEETAH aggregate register project, which we will cover later. There may be more projects in this list if you are taking part in Falcon. So to register a patient, click the main CHEETAH project. As mentioned earlier, all of the trial numbers for your site have been pre-populated. So to register a patient, you click View Edit Records on the left-hand side. Then select the trial number from the trial number sticker on the front of the CRF booklet. Find and select the same trial number. And to register the patient, you simply click on the baseline and intraoperative form shown here. Proceed to enter as much data as you can, all of it if possible. If at any point you see any red error messages, these indicate that the patient is ineligible and you should click cancel and not continue to save this record. We won't do that now. We will confirm that we wish to register the patient into CHEETAH. Pick the centre name, the month and year of birth, say this patient isn't participating in Falcon, the age of the patient, and continue to fill in all the rest of the information. Date of operation is particularly important, as that is used by the calendar to schedule the 30-day follow-up. Again, if any eligibility criteria for the patient are violated, then you should click cancel and not continue to save the form. Enter the administrative data at the bottom of the form. And set the status to unverified when you are ready, so that this can be flagged as ready to be checked by either the Hub team or the BCTU CHEETAH trial team. And click Save and Exit. Once added, This patient has now been registered into CHEETAH. As we can see, we now have 3 upcoming calendar events for this CHEETAH patient. If you view the calendar on the left hand side, this will show you the upcoming appointments for all of the CHEETAH patients at your site, including 30-day follow-up forms, discharge forms, and consent forms if required at your site. From the calendar, you can click the Agenda tab to see an upcoming schedule of events for different patients at your site. This can be printed using the Print Calendar button. We will now look at adding CRF data to a patient that has already been registered into the CHEETAH study. As before, log in using your username and password. Click on the main CHEETAH project. Select Record Status Dashboard from the left-hand menu. For Dashboard Displayed, select Registered Patients if this is not already selected. And from here, you'll be able to see a grid of all the patients that have been registered at your site, along with all the CRFs which are available to add for that patient. So we are going to add the 30-day follow-up for patient 400309 by clicking on the circle. If at any point you wish to view some generic guidance on how to use REDCap for data entry, there is a link provided on the page to a video which tells you how to do basic data entry tasks in REDCap. We will proceed to fill in as much of the data as possible, all if possible. We must confirm that the patient has provided consent. And also record how the follow-up was performed. And again, complete the administrative information at the bottom section of the form. And then click Save. Okay. As we can see, a pop-up has been displayed, displaying some validation warnings. If we read what they are: date form completed cannot be in the future. This was as we added a date form was completed, which is 4 days ahead of today. And that date form completed cannot be after the date form was entered. So if you receive any data quality rule messages, you may close this box and go back and correct the incorrect data at the point of save. So our date form completed is in the future. We can correct that. Set as unverified, so the trial team or hub team know that this data is ready to be checked, and click Save and Exit Form. We must then now enter a reason why we are changing the data. So, correcting error in form. This reason for change is stored in the audit, so we know why data was changed if it was changed after it was initially saved. As we can see, the 30-day follow-up form has now been entered for this patient. If you do not wish to use the record status dashboard to find the CRF you're about to enter, you may also use the calendar or the agenda, and from here you can click on an event and access the required form from the calendar event. For the final part of this REDCap training module, we will look at adding CHEETAH aggregate register data into REDCap. The aggregate register captures some summary information gathered from the CHEETAH register on a separate CRF. So as before, you log in, but instead of selecting the main CHEETAH project, you select CHEETAH aggregate register. Then to add a new record, so to add a new CRF, click Add Edit Records on the left hand side, and then click Add New Record. Again, select the site name from the drop down menu and enter the date range from the paper CRF. So for this form we will say and proceed to enter the summary data. Once you've finished entering the aggregate register data, set the form status as complete. This differs from the main CHEETAH project where the data will be queried later. And when you're finished, click Save and Exit Form. You can see the record's been created and the date range covered by this CRF. If you need to edit any data on aggregate register forms you've already entered, you can again click the Record Status dashboard, and this will show you all the records added for your site. And if you need to change one, you may select the correct one by identifying the date range, and then edit any data that was incorrect at the time. Click Save and Exit Form.